I'm really happy. I felt good.
Alex Eala is standing inside the Edgbaston Priory Club in Birmingham, England. Rain delay halting her semi-final against Rebecca Masarova, leading 3-2 in the third set.
In a sensation, Alex Eala at kanyang partner na si Rebecca Masarova na-eliminate kaagad sa opening round pa lamang ng Birmingham.
Having already navigated 3 consecutive matches without dropping a single set on a surface she barely played until 6 days ago. She is 1 win away from a Birmingham final. She is the #1 seed. She is 21 years old, and she has not panicked once. Nike has been watching every single point, and what their executives have reportedly been circulating internally about Eala's next commercial phase is exactly what this story is about. Every major milestone in her commercial and on-court story drops here first. Subscribe now because the window to say you were watching before the whole world caught up is closing faster than any of us expected. To understand what Nike sees, you need to know what the last 12 months looked like as a brand strategy, not as a career arc. It began with a flower.
The flower in the hair was an idea of Nike. Flower is the national flower of the Philippines. It's called the Sampaguita. The whole idea behind it.
Nike created a bespoke Sampaguita hair tie, the national flower of the Philippines, exclusively for Eala's Wimbledon 2025 debut. Not for sale, not available to the public, made for one athlete. That is the kind of symbolic one-of-one gesture Nike reserves for the names it is preparing to build an entire universe around. Then came the Vogue Philippines August 2025 cover, where Eala wore a Nike-designed Sampaguita collection crafted by Manila-based artist Georgina Camus. Then came the invitation to Nike's world headquarters in Beaverton, Oregon in February 2026, where Nike posted publicly in Filipino, "Salamat sa pagbisita," thank you for visiting. The escalation has been deliberate, and Birmingham is the moment it all converges. Here is the tension no one in the mainstream tennis press is willing to say plainly. Alex Eala has become one of the most commercially significant players in women's tennis before she has won a single WTA title. Gigi Salmon, lead tennis presenter at Sky Sports, stood at a public industry event in London and said this directly, not as a compliment, but as a statement of verified market reality. I would say, in terms of her appeal, the crowds that follow her, she might already be the biggest star. She went further. She described the atmosphere at Eala's Dubai 2026 matches, where Eala was ranked outside top 40 as being like a pop concert. It was like Taylor Swift was playing. People were screaming. Taylor Swift at a WTA 125 event. For a player not yet in the top 30 at the time, that is not normal. That is a gap, a chasm, really, between what the rankings say and what the market already knows. And that gap is exactly what Nike has been trying to close, one gesture at a time. But the gestures keep getting bigger. And industry sources, as reported by Tennis 365, have confirmed that big sponsorship deals in the coming months are being discussed around Eala's name. The hair tie was the opening bid. What comes next is something else entirely. Start with the Sampaguita hair tie because it is the detail that tells you everything about how Nike thinks. When a brand as disciplined and deliberate as Nike creates a non-commercial, culturally rooted, one-of-a-kind piece of kit for a player ranked outside the top 50, they are not doing it as goodwill. They are building a story. The Sampaguita is the national flower of the Philippines. It blooms at night, it is used in religious ceremonies, it is woven into the hair of Filipino women for generations. Nike chose that flower, not a generic design, not a logo rework, for a player making her Wimbledon debut. The signal to every brand intelligence team watching was unmistakable. This is not a routine endorsement. This is a long-term cultural construction project. Monday, February 23, 2026, Nike's official Philippines social account posts a photo from their Beaverton, Oregon World Headquarters. Eala inside the building, smiling, gear around her. The caption is in Filipino, Salamat sa pagbisita. That post alone reached hundreds of thousands of engagements across the Filipino diaspora. Put yourself in the room where Nike's global marketing team is reviewing that engagement data, seeing Filipino fans in Dubai, London, and Manila reacting at the same intensity to one athlete's gear fitting that they would reserve for a Wimbledon champion. The math is not complicated. Then Birmingham happened. June 2. Eala walks onto center court against Priscilla Hahn, opens the first set in approximately 22 minutes, and wins 6-0. The second set goes 6-2. It is not a match. It is a demonstration. June 4. Alina Chareva takes her to the edge, pushing Eala to 2-5 down in the second set. Any player with doubts about their grass game folds there. Eala wins the next 5 games. Final score, 6-2, 7-5. June 5, Mananchaya Sawankyu, 71 total points across the quarterfinal. Eala's share, the majority, score 6-3, 6-2, 3 matches. 0 sets dropped entering the semifinals. This is what Nike scouts see when they watch tape. Not just results, but how she wins. The ability to absorb a 2-5 deficit and produce 5 straight games. The composure of a player who has been told repeatedly by rankings, by seedings, by Grand Slam draws that she is not yet in the conversation, and who keeps walking into that conversation and taking a seat. The fans saw it too. Filipino supporters traveled to Edgbaston Priory Club in Birmingham, England, for a WTA 1/25 event. Not a slam. Not a premier tournament. A WTA 125. And they filled the grounds with noise that players on the adjacent courts could hear. You were never wrong about her. The world has simply needed this many wins to finally agree with you. That crowd is not a coincidence. It is a market. And when Sky Sports' Gigi Salmon, a credible, mainstream British broadcasting voice with no stake in Filipino national pride, validates what those fans already knew, it stops being a fan narrative and becomes a commercial fact. Kim Clijsters won 4 Grand Slam singles titles. She reached world number 1 twice. She retired, had children, and then won the 2011 Australian Open upon her return, a comeback so improbable that it permanently established her as someone who understands what extraordinary looks like from the inside. She is Belgian. She has no nationalistic reason to promote a Filipina tennis player. She is an objective voice. And she went on the Served with Andy Roddick podcast and said this: she has to deal with this life of being like Michael Jordan in the Philippines. Clijsters did not say the next big thing. She did not say a rising star. She invoked Michael Jordan, the standard against which all cultural sports icons in the modern era are measured, and she placed Alex Eala inside that framework. And then she added the warning, Eala needs to be protected like a big star. That warning carries weight, because what Clijsters understands, what any 4-time Grand Slam champion who has navigated commercial pressure understands, is that the moment a player's cultural footprint outpaces their ranking, the commercial machinery around them has to operate at the highest possible level. Nike heard that podcast. Nike has seen the Dubai crowds. Nike was at Beaverton in February, watching Eala try on gear in their development lab. When Kim Clijsters says, protect her like a star, Nike's response is to build a commercial structure that matches the cultural reality already in existence. This story runs well past Birmingham. Southeast Asia is the next major battleground for global sportswear and sports media revenue. A region of over 700 million people with rising middle classes, digital-first sports consumption, and no single dominant sporting identity yet established. Nike, Adidas, and every major brand are racing to own the emotional relationship with that market before it calcifies. Alex Eala is not simply a Filipino tennis player. She is the most emotionally resonant point of entry that any brand has ever had into that market through tennis. When Filipino fans book international flights to watch a WTA 125 event in Birmingham, England, that is not fandom. That is brand loyalty in action, the kind of loyalty that marketing departments would spend hundreds of millions attempting to manufacture and still fail. The timeline ahead is unambiguous. After Birmingham, Eala holds a confirmed wild card at the 2026 Bad Homburg Open, June 21 through 27, the prestigious grass tournament 1 week before Wimbledon, where reports indicate she and Venus Williams may be granted a doubles partnership that would send the tennis world into a full international news cycle. Then comes Wimbledon 2026. Main draw, her second appearance, ranked number 37, playing with the grass court form she is building in real time this week. Beyond that, the US Open in late August, where her name is already appearing in tournament press conference contexts, sits as the next major commercial milestone marker. Every one of those events is a potential announcement window. And industry sources have made clear the deals being discussed are not small. 11 days before she walked onto the grass at Edgbaston, Alex Eala walked off a clay court in Paris having lost 4-6, 2-6 in the first round of Roland Garros 2026, beaten by American Eva Jovic, seed number 17, who Eala has publicly described as a close friend. It was her second consecutive first-round Grand Slam exit this year. She did not give a long press conference about rebuilding. She did not post a reflective essay about the clay season. She showed up in Birmingham 6 days later and won the first set of her opening match in 22 minutes. 6. She had said it herself in a Tennis 365 exclusive interview before any of this. My day-to-day life is the same. I have the same work ethic and the same attention to detail. And at the Nike HQ visit, when a reporter asked if she had become the new Manny Pacquiao, the greatest Philippine sporting icon of the modern era, she answered in Tagalog, "Nasa ibang level na siya. Sa tingin ko, medyo malayo pa ako. He is on another level. I think I am still far from there." That humility, expressed in her native language, without performance or calculation, is not a deflection. It is a blueprint. A player who answers questions about her own legend in the language of her grandmother, who walks off a Roland Garros first-round loss and opens a Birmingham grass match with a bagel set, that player does not need anyone to tell her who she is. It started with a flower no one else would ever get. It became a Vogue Philippines cover in Nike gear. A visit to world headquarters where the caption was written in Filipino. A crowd in Birmingham, England, screaming for a WTA 125 semifinalist the way crowds scream for Wimbledon champions. Kim Clijsters invoking Michael Jordan. Gigi Salmon abandoning journalistic neutrality to call her, without hesitation, already the biggest star. The specific contract number, whatever it is, will eventually become public. Nike does not build cultural campaigns of this scale and then leave them unnamed forever. What has already been confirmed is the pattern, from a Sampaguita hair tie that was never sold, to a Vogue cover, to Beaverton, to Birmingham. Each step in that sequence is larger than the last. The trajectory has one direction. Alex Eala did not become this story by accident. She built it one match, one set, one unbroken composure at a time. And while this is being narrated, she is still out there, rain delay or not, waiting to walk back onto that Birmingham court and prove, one more time, what everyone watching her already understands. The question for the comment section is this. When Nike finally announces the full scope of what they are building around Alex Eala at Wimbledon, at the US Open, or whenever the number becomes public, what do you think it should actually be? And which brand has the most to lose if they are not in the room when that announcement lands? If you are watching Eala's story unfold in real time, the Birmingham run, Bad Homburg, Wimbledon, and you have not subscribed to this channel yet, you are about to miss the moment.